Happy evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are in this big wide world. Shadow Edge Media, Dustin Moore here for you on a Tuesday night. And if it's Tuesday night, that means it's Tuesday Night Racing here on the channel with the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. And we are getting closer and closer to that grand finale next Tuesday, but all the drivers have got to get through today. And what a big day. 2 races tonight, Brands Hatch, Monza. All the points are up for grabs and opportunities for drivers to make their move there on the leaderboard. The one who made the biggest leap by far, sitting currently in 7th, SFM Darkser, who was in 13th entering week number 3, now finds himself on the left side of the board, right there behind Odd Drex, Disco Joint, Blister Gypsy, Salty Bonkos, Mr. Biggie, and Cratrium. And this is after Darkser, back there in week number 2, out at Road Atlanta, was leading the race and then was disconnected in the last lap. Crazy, I know. You can't make these storylines anywhere else. You can't make up these storylines anywhere else but here in the virtual world of Forza Motorsport 7. And again, my name is Dustin Moore. Great to have you all tuned in. Thank you all so much for being here as I get things loaded up on my end. Man, traffic was crazy getting home today. So, fortunately, I was able to sprint through the door just in time to get everything set up. And as I take a look at the lobby, they've got, looks like the drivers are already out of the track at Brands Hatch, just doing a little bit of practice. They'll come back in, and we'll get qualifying going here at the top of the hour. If any of our drivers would like to chat with us before the race here today, you know what to do. Go to that queue for interview section here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series Discord, and we'll have a chat. But lots of storylines, as has been the case all throughout this season. Season 26 is going to be a season to remember for these guys and gals, because this is the one where we've seen the most excitement out on the track. Sure, Season 25 in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, great season. Season 24 in the Fiat X19s, great season, but nothing has compared to what we've got here in Season 26, driving these the Formula Mazda. And if you don't know what the Formula Mazda is, it's an open-wheel vehicle, and we'll take a look at it here shortly as we get ready to go out to the track. But open-wheel vehicle, a little bit more powerful than a go-kart, a lot less power than an Indy car or a Formula One car, but these are essentially glorified go-karts in every sense of the word. 206 horsepower, 182 foot-pounds of torque. The vehicle's weighing 1,226. That's their curb weight without a driver in there. Performance index here in Forza Motorsport 7, S748. And as I take a look at the queue for interview, I see the man, the myth, the legend, the organizer here of FM4, Slow Motion Fire. How you doing today, sir?
I am doing well. Yourself, Shadow?
I'm doing great, and as we look at the leaderboard, it's still showing there for our viewers. A lot of drama happening there after week number 3 in a good way. Not drama that by any means is bad, but Darkser making a leap over the left-hand side. You find yourself slightly back behind them there in 11th position. Man, at this point, it's anybody's call in terms of who's going to win this season.
Those top 6 are definitely feeling the pressure this week. It's kind of a make or break week, especially since some of them have already had their drop weeks.
Indeed, and we're talking to Slow Motion Fire here as we get ready for week number 4, heading into week number 5 next Tuesday. We've got Brands Hatch and Monza up to bat. If you can recall, who picked these 2 tracks, and give us your impressions of how the Formula Mazda is going to do on them here today.
Foontang picked Brands Hatch, and CT picked Monza.
Okay, and your thoughts on the 2?
The little bit we've been doing testing here, and I think somebody was saying earlier, you're going to have to be in that draft. If you get out of the draft, that's good for a couple mile an hour. You're just going to fall back. Any little mistake is just going to kill you at Monza.
Any little mistake in
that regard.
Yeah, any little mistake there at Monza. Of course, Brands Hatch. We've been out to that track a number of times in the Mileage Masters series, and inevitably, what happens is, sure, everybody gets through the first corner the first time, but for whatever reason, whether it be carrying too much speed down the back straight or the front straightaway into turn one, we get folks over there in the kitty litter. So, is that an issue here with the Formula Mazdas, or because they are so planted, people are able to get them through that corner pretty easily?
I think it's going to be just about like any other race. It's just so easy to do in that corner, the way it's off camber and the track just kind of falls away from you.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to be overconfident.
And again, we're talking with Slow Motion Fire. As I look at the lobby here, we've got the usual suspects: Mr. Biggie, Fear the Fun, Autobahn, Gotta Go Fast, Blister Gypsy's there, Audrex is there, T-Phrase, Phone Tank, Slow Motion, D-Fire, a relatively new name, at least since we've been broadcasting these events here on Shadow Edge Media. What would you say, before we let you get back to the lobby, what would you say to anybody who's interested in participating in FM4, knowing that we're getting to the end of Season 26, but looking ahead at Season 27?
Out and join us. I mean, if we got spots open, people are always welcome to join us. If you race clean and casual is kind of what we're going for here. So nothing on the line, and we're just here to have fun.
Very good. I like it. Open invitation. If you race clean, you can race with these folks here in FM4. All the information over at reddit.com/r/FM4. Slow Motion Fire, great chatting with you. Best of luck in the couple of races here tonight. And we look forward to seeing how this thing shakes out here toward the finale.
I do too. I think Long Beach is going to be a heck of a race.
Oh, it's going to be a beaut. It's going to be a beaut. All right, let's go ahead and let's get I see SFM Darkser over there, and I was talking about Darkser, the one making the most jumps, the leaps and bounds there on the overall scoreboard, coming in at 7th position in ring week number 4 here, right behind Audrex. He's got 147 points. I know, of course, we've posed this question to you before, so this is nothing new, that if there's a chance for you to make it to the top, are you going to be able to pull it out? Brands Hatch, Monza, give us your take on those two tracks, and is this going to favor you in your attempt to run up the leaderboard? And let's see, let's try it now. Darkster, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Perfect. All right. So you're making a run for the leaderboard from 13th to 7th now here in week number 4. Brands Hatch, Monza, are these going to be favorable for you to make a run for the top spot?
I think I have a much better chance at Monza than Brands Hatch, just because speed at Monza. I've tended to do reasonably well at the faster tracks here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a little worried about Solar being here, though. He's going to put up a pretty harsh challenge here.
Oh, we've got Solar jumping. I know he was in the pit lane here in our Twitch chat saying, hey, how do I get set up in Discord and all that? And so, yes, I do see he's joined the field. So that always makes things interesting, because it's always versus the Mileage Master Series, where those races are very much dependent on mileage, or at least it was in the championship. Here in a league like this, where your position matters, that's what grants you the points. Having somebody new in here, that's a wild card. They could take the points off the table for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've raced against him many, many, many times, and he's going to be wicked fast right out of the gate. So I'm nervously anxious to do this one. But I do think it's going to be a really good race at Brands Hatch. I think that's where we're starting tonight.
Out at Brands Hatch, we'll be in qualifying here in about 2.5 minutes, talking with SFM Darkster, 7th position overall on the leaderboard. Here's something I've noticed, Darkster, throughout the week, is that there seems to be other series that are jumping on board, or maybe they've done it in the past, but they're coming back around to it with these Formula Mazdas. These cars seem to be so darn exciting. What do you chalk that up to?
Well, it's a very light car. It's got a lot of grip, and for the amount that it weighs, it's got a lot of power. So you can get loose at a low speed without actually losing any time. And the car just rewards driving hard. And I think that's why so many people will enjoy driving the car, because it's just so satisfying to go fast in.
Very good. Okay, well, Dark Sir, I wish you the very best. Of course, we've got qualifying coming up here next, here in about, like I said, 2 minutes or so. So best of luck there. Best of luck in the race. And perhaps we'll chat with you at the end of the night, and then we'll see how things look heading into the finale next Tuesday.
Sounds good, man. Talk to you later.
All right. There you go, folks. Dark Sir. I'm going to throw him back over to the lobby so that we can get ready as I take a look here. It looks like maybe some of my stuff is a little bit messed up, so pardon me as I try to fix that in my system to give us the correct setup. We don't want what I'm seeing here, and of course you all can't see it, but give me 1 second here. I'm going to try to fix our display. We want the correct display. It's going to give you all some very informative information. Yeah, how coincidental. It's informative information. It's going to be pertinent details about who is where on the leaderboard entering this week. But in addition to that, specifications as it relates to the car. Give me 1 second here. And please be the one that I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go. I like it. Let's take a look at that lobby. Let's see who's in here. We've got Salty Bonkos, Audrex, Fear the Fun, Gotta Go Fast, Foontang, Disco Joint, T-Phrase, Presto is Besto, Blister Gypsy, Fast Eddie, Slow Motion Fire, D-Fire, SFM Darkser, Solar, making an appearance here in the FM4 series, Weiss Lancelot, Unironically Average, Cratrim, Mr. Biggie, Modern Weapon. That's the list of 19 drivers currently in the lobby at this point, and with about a minute and a half to go, we'll see if anybody jumps in last minute, and if not, maybe some folks will get in just before the race gets going. Shortly after qualifying. Let's go take a look at the pit lane. We've got SFM Darkser is in there. Slow Motion Fire was here. Solar is here. Folks, I know there are some of you watching here to see the action. Please say hello there in the pit lane, otherwise known as the Twitch chat in other parts of the Twitch community. We'd love to get your interaction here throughout our races, these 2 races here tonight in a very, very crucial week number 4 of Season 26 in this Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. And I take a look at some of the alerts here. Fastest Ear 4018, thank you very much for the follow. Cry MCN, thank you for the follow. Remore MCO, thank you for the follow. Hello there, Fastest Ear. Unironically Averaged, of course, this was 2 weeks ago on Sunday with the Mileage Masters event, our 1-year anniversary celebration with the host. Ricknar WOT with the follow. Cell Runner with the host. Oh my gosh, just all kinds of stuff happened, and I believe there was also a 11-month subscription by The Anarchy, which for whatever reason is not showing up on my alerts, but The Anarchy, thank you for 11 months straight of support. We've got a t-shirt heading out his way. Oh man. All right, we've got another driver who's joined in the lobby, so we'll make that 20 drivers out on the grid. Divine says, can I join so I can kick Solar's butt? I love it. I love it. Sweet baby Jesus, says Darkser. Man, good to see you all. I'm glad to have you all tuned in, ready to go. There's the countdown. We're getting ready to get this thing underway. I'm excited. I'm pumped. This season 26 has been nothing shy of exciting, and it will only continue. Starting with Brands Hatch, we'll have 3 qualifying laps. All of the cars will go into no collision ghost mode so that we could do qualifying all in one fell swoop. Out here at the GP circuit, mind you, not at the national circuit of Brands Hatch, which obviously here in the Formula Mazdas, it makes sense that we're at the GP circuit. And there you go, Modern Weapon, first off the line. Solar telling us in the pit lane, first time that he has driven. I'm guessing maybe these Formula Mazdas, and if that's the case, man, look out for that name and see what he's going to be able to do. Very, very quick driver in the world of Forza Motorsport. And don't be surprised if you find him at the front, not only in qualifying, but then also in the race. Slow Motion Fire is going to be the second one as they roll down what is out of Sheen Curve toward, pardon me, I've got that all goofed up. That's out of Graham Hill, down toward the Graham Hill bend, and Modern Weapon's going to be off the track now as he heads up Surtees towards Pilgrim Drop and then Hawthorne Hill. If you all missed our race on Sunday, the 2 hours MX5 Cup Car Challenge out at Lime Rock. You missed a beaut, and you'll want to check that out. You can find that in the past broadcast section of the video tab. But do it after the race. Do it after the live action right now. You don't want to miss that one. 2 hours out at Lime Rock in those MX5s, and man, it was exciting from front to back. We had T-Phrase joining in with color commentary. We had Salty Broncos, who is racing here today, 4th overall on the leaderboard, mind you. Salty Broncos providing that expert analysis there in the commentary booth. I couldn't be prouder of commentating that race with those two gentlemen. And to be back here on a Tuesday, it feels a little weird. It's been a while since I've had these almost back-to-back races, and oh my gosh, Modern Weapon is just not having a good time at all. Finds himself over to the tire wall, coming down the hill, and that's Halewood's hill, and I am not sure what is happening with Modern Weapon. Actually, he's going to go ahead and just duck into the grass. Wow. Let's go up to Slow Motion Fire. Currently Solar with the quickest time at a 1:30.2. And of course, that's from the standing start. At this point, starting with Slow Motion Fire, is the first rolling start, or the flying lap. Divine saying, hey man, if you need another commentator, I happen to be the guy. Hey, we could chat it up. Usually for these races, I haven't had a commentator, but certainly if you're interested, drop me a line in either my email, which you can find down below at twitch.tv/Shadow Edge Media, or you can go on over to the Discord, the Shadow Edge Media Discord, and send me a direct message. And we can get in contact and chat it over and see what's what. We do have our commentary booth all lined up for our next Mileage Masters race, which will be taking place on April 7th. That's going to be the Throwback Multi-Class event out at Sebring, and how appropriate here as we just went through the weekend of 12 hours of Sebring. But we're going to go out there, as the name implies, Throwback. We're going to go out there in the early prototype cars and GT Reborn vehicles. And Disco Joint now with the top time at a 1:29.9. Let's go to SFM Dark Sir and watch him do his flying lap, or he's actually about to conclude lap number 2 of the 3 qualifying laps, so perhaps this will even be his fastest. And Cratrium there with a 1:29 odd. Little overcast here, Brands Hatch, England. And Darkser is not going to be able to best Cratrium's time, at least not that time by. He's got one more here on qualifying lap number 3. Let's go to Cratrium. Coming down up to Pilgrim's Drop, then Hawthorne Hill, once again Hawthorne's. Then you've got the Derek Minter Straight up to Westfield, then to Dingle Dell. The Dingle Dell gets me every time I say it, but I promise you it's legit. I don't know what it means. Divine says, you know, I had to get in on those early protos. Sign me up. You can sign up. All the details are down below, or at least the link to where you need to go is down below at twitch.tv/Shadow Edge Media, or it'll direct you to racetracks.com, and it's TRACX, racetracks.com/Mileage Masters, and there's the sign up. However, as of this morning, we have filled up the field, but we are taking waitlist applications because this past race with the MX-5s, and Solar is actually going to come through now with the quickest time at a 1:28.8. This past week with the MX-5s, we had 3 drivers not show up. So there is a possibility that we may have a driver no-show. So go ahead and fill out the form. We'll put you on the wait list. And all the way up to the 5-minute mark before the race on April 7th, if one of the drivers does not show, you can jump into that spot. We'll be happy to have you. But in record time, the fastest Mileage Masters event we've ever had fill up was this one here, the April 7th race, and that warms my heart. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and head back to the lobby, or the screen's going to fake us out a couple times. I'm going to go ahead and head back myself, and we'll see if it shows the time. It does not, so we'll just have to wait here. Let's see. That's from their practice run. So we'll hang tight right here until everybody comes back out of the lobby. Again, a look at the standings. Entering week number 4. This is the penultimate week in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. If you have no clue of what we're talking about or what's going on, well, guess what? You can hang out and enjoy it no matter what. But the FM4 League is 5 weeks of racing back to back to back to back to back on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. They take your top 4 weeks in terms of points, and that's what determines the championship points heading into that final week there in week number 5. Obviously, the driver with the most points comes away with the championship. Solar saying completely butchered first and second corner. He can maybe do a 27, and so Solar telling us there, not the best out at Brands Hatch in that Formula Mazda, but he did pretty good. Pretty good. And let's go ahead now. Let's go to the driver's spotlight. We'll talk to Big J Bishop, Mr. Fear the Fun. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, these Formula Mazdas out at Brands Hatch, you got a lot of undulation in this track. As I look through the qualifying, and perhaps you could tell me where you ultimately finished. You got a 133.1 as your fast lap. You pretty satisfied with that?
Yeah, I'm 16th. I'm not satisfied with it at all, but I've never been good at Brands Hatch. The turn one's going to catch me out like nobody's business. But I think I'll do decent here. Not so much worried about just clean laps as much as clean racing laps.
Yeah, clean racing. That's definitely important. Finding yourself between Funtang and Montalvo MC on the overall leaderboard. You've got 118 to Funtang's 134. Ninth position. Where do you want to be after tonight, heading into the finale? Where do you want to be on that leaderboard?
As long as I'm ahead of Funtang, I'm perfectly happy.
You got a little battle with Funtang? Is that your buddy out on the track? Is that somebody you kind of benchmark yourself against?
Me and him, I think we've had some of the closest racing I've seen on this series since we did it in the Datsuns, which you weren't here for, but even with the Fiats and the Aston Martins, we were always neck and neck.
And we are talking with Fear the Fun here. So you got an interesting track here in Brands Hatch. We already talked about the undulation, and we already talked about keeping it clean. You've got some interesting corners. For me, Surtees, which is coming out of that Cooper straight there on the infield, which is that left-hander before you go down the long straightaway. That's always been tricky for me. How do you approach that corner? Of course, if you know which one I'm talking about there.
I do. I run a little wide before I turn in. Mm-hmm. And then when I turn in, I get on the gas just a little bit later than you think you should, just so I have a little bit more of that rotation coming out of the corner to get down the straightaway.
And then as you head down that straightaway toward Hawthorns, you've got that right-hander. Do you let off the accelerator? I'm guessing you have to let off the accelerator, but is there any braking involved in that corner, or is it just letting up a little bit?
There's a dab of brakes. I kind of set up the same way as I run a little wide, and then I cut in just because it lets you get a little bit more of a smoother follow-through and a faster follow-through.
And we are out there at week number 2 at Sebring in the club circuit with the rain coming down. Out here at Brands Hatch where you might anticipate rain. No rain today. Are you pretty thankful for that?
Absolutely. Well, everything I learned from Sebring, no more rain for these cars is the best kind of racing.
And there is no more rain forecasted for the remainder of the season. After this, you've got Monza, which far more flat, a lot more speed out that track. So if you were to pick one of these two to be the one that you're expecting the best finish, which one is it going to be?
I'm going to say Brands Hatch, only because I know my luck. And at a track like Monza, which I'm actually halfway decent at, some way or another, something's going to happen, and I'm not going to be a happy camper.
Well,
so if I keep my expectations down, and then I achieve higher than my expectations, that's a win in my book.
Yeah. Well, we hope the best for you as you try to track down Funtang on the overall leaderboard. Fear the Fun. It looks like everybody's readied up in there, so I'll let you get back at it. Best of luck to you out there at Brands Hatch.
Thank you. You too, man. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, folks, there we go, and we are pretty much readied up here. The drivers Had a quick clip here tonight, all readied up. We'll let Fear the Fun get sorted out and ready. And, of course, we'll talk to some of our other drivers at the conclusion of this race, get their thoughts on how things finished out there on the track. But, yes, Solar is showing up to take some points off the board for somebody. And if we talked to Darksir before the race, if anybody is probably concerned about that, it's got to be him, because Darksir has the most to gain out there on the track, at least in my opinion. All the other drivers, those that are at the top of the leaderboard, they're playing defense at this point, whereas Darksir in 7th position at 147 points, trying to catch up with Craytrim, who's at the very, very top with a cool 185. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. It's Tuesday night racing. Kick the tires and light those fires. Heading through Paddock Bend, it's going to be SVR Solar with Darksir on his outside. And here they come, side by side, wheel to wheel, into Druids. Darksir is going to duck back into the inside. It's that two-step, that racing two-step, and there goes Solar off into the grass. It's going to be Darksir who's going to come out of that one A-OK. Down Cooper Straight towards Surtees. And there you go. Darksir, who needs a first-place finish badly, is currently leading this race. He's got Salty Bonkers back behind him, and back behind Salty is Mr. Biggie, who, between those two, it's Mr. Biggie second and Salty third overall on the leaderboard. Down the hill toward Hawthorne. And again, it's Derek Mentor straight into Westfield, and then that funnily named Dingle Dell. Over the curbing they go, and Darksir starting to establish that commanding lead. We've seen it. We've seen it before. Will he be able to hold on to it? Salty Bonkos doesn't want him to be able to. And for Salty, he could surely use a big-time win out here at Brands Hatch as they come down the straightaway, the back straightaway, clearways, then Clark Curve, Brabham straight, back toward the start-finish line. Running through the pack, third again, Mr. Biggie, fourth, Craytrim, fifth, Funtang, and Funtang ducking and dodging back there. He's going to hold on to 5th position as they head into paddock. Behind him, Audrex. Solar has managed to hang tight back there in 7th position after going off into the grass through Graham Hill. And Solar looks to move up now to 6th position. Let's go to Solar. Solar on the outside there through Graham Hill Bend, and he's got, yes, he does have 6th position. Now he's going to hop onto the backside there of Craytrim. Craytrim entering week number 4 as the overall leader on the leaderboard. Seaton, that's what you know him as. Looking to come away with another win here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. And here comes Solar on the outside with that neon pink, that magenta and green painted car, the Formula Mazda, 206 horsepower, 182 foot-pounds of torque. There they go through Westfield, into the Dingle Dell, down the hill. The birds are flying up overhead, cloudy skies, as you might expect. And we've got 8 and 9 who appear to be off into the dirt. That's going to be 8th position of Blister Gypsy. Blister Gypsy is 4th overall on the leaderboard. Disco Joint in 9th, 5th overall on the leaderboard. So all the names that you would expect toward the front of the pack, they are certainly there. But they're going to have to make some moves to hold on to those spots. T-Phrase up there in 11th position. Let's go back up to the front with Mr. Biggie in 3rd position. Out front of him, Salty Bonkos. Let's go to Salty as Salty looks to be closing in on Darksir down the hill. Into Druids once again for the 3rd lap of 21. Yes, 21. I know it says 22 up in the upper left-hand corner. That'll be a victory lap for the victor in this race. There goes Salty Bonkos up on to the runoff area. And here's the corner that I was talking about, me having the most troubles with. It's Surtees. It's kind of uphill. You slope it uphill, and the apex isn't necessarily visible as you come down Cooper Straight, and especially with these very low-riding Formula Mazdas. Now here comes Salty Bonkos. He's back behind Darksir there by a good 3 or 4 car lengths. Mr. Biggie falling back a bit as well. Salty's got a point to prove. He joined us in the commentary booth for the MX-5 race. Perhaps he wanted to be so focused on these Formula Mazdas that he didn't even want to touch those D382 Mazdas that we had back there on Sunday in that one-year anniversary MX-5 Cup Car Challenge for the Mileage Master Series. Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series here live with you on a Tuesday night. Shadow Edge Media, Dustin Moore bringing you the play-by-play. And we continue to watch Salty Broncos closing in. Let's go ahead. Let's take a lap around Brands Hatch here with Salty Broncos. Across the line. And here is the somewhat intimidating Paddock Hill Bend. Into Druids, Darkser opts to put the right wheels up onto the curbing. Salty Broncos, not so much. Same goes for the corner there at Graham Hill Bend. Darkser really painting the inside of the apex. Salty picking himself a little bit more of an inside, less of an inside line as it relates to the apex. Now here down the long straightaway, here's where Salty Broncos is going to be able to make use of that slipstream. Darkser having to punch through the air. Salty taking advantage of it, and he is, in fact, closing in. And Salty onto the grass and sends the back end a little bit wild. That's going to bring him off the pace a little bit. Coming up the Sheen Curve, another one that's uphill. Very much difficult to see. You don't see the apex, and there's Darkser now sliding it out. Paint job, the livery there on Salty Broncos' car saying new week, new paint job. Well, there you go. Salty Broncos mixing it up every week apparently with the look of his car, and he continues to close in. It's this checkers match or chess match. I'm sorry, I'm more of a checkers guy only because it's simple. It's simple work for me. Salty Broncos looking to king Darkser go over the top, claim the top spot, or he may just hang out here on the back and wait for Darkser to make a mistake. Either way, he's got a lot of time to make that to decide what his strategy is going to be. Of course, a lot of these drivers, and especially those who are highly skilled, usually come into these races very much with a strategy, and that strategy is going to have to ramp up significantly next week as they head out to Long Beach for the finale. And as is the case in every F4 Series finale, it's an endurance event of sorts, and they'll be out there at Long Beach for 57 laps. Salty Broncos was looking to the inside there at Hawthorne's, or at Westfield rather. No opportunity, and Salty Broncos in a bad way, drifting it through Sheen Curve up to Sterling's, and now that's going to put him back a bit. And here comes Solar, who has crept his way up to third position. Last time we saw Solar, he was back there in sixth. Let's go to Mr. Biggie in fourth, who now has Solar out in front of him. It's going to be the two SVR crew members or teammates in second and third. Cratrim back there in fifth. Fotang in sixth, Audrex in seventh, Blister Gypsy is eighth, Disco in ninth, 10th is unironically average. Presto is Besto in 11th, T-Phrase 12th, 13th is Slow Motion Fire. We talked to Fear the Fun. He's back there in 14th position, must have dropped off one. I think he said he qualified 13th. Got to go fast in 15th. Fast Eddie is 16th, TFX Ray Devil 17th, Modern Weapon and Weiss Lancelot are 18th and 19th, which means we might have lost a driver in this race. We should have had 20 to start. We're down to 19. Check that. Yeah, we are down to 19. Darkser now with a bit of a commanding lead. Let's go to SVR Salty Broncos, who's going to have to fend off his buddy Solar. And now this is going to make things very interesting. Salty Broncos obviously in contention, in the running for the championship. He's in front of the two drivers that he needs to beat in this race, Cratrim and Mr. Biggie. What is Solar going to do? Is he either going to help or hinder his teammate? His teammate Salty Broncos, who has already shown that he's a little bit rusty in the Formula Mazda, or at least maybe a bit anxious in trying to keep up with Darkser. And Darkser now coming around Clark Curve up the Brabham Straight for the end of lap number 6, the start of lap 7. And here comes Darkster now down the hill, heading toward Graham Hill Bend, and there goes Solar, approaching his buddy Salty Bonkos. What's he going to do? Is he going to press him for a pass? Or is he going to just hold out right there on the back end and maybe give Salty Bonkos all the leverage he could need, or all the leverage he could use here down the straightaway to try to catch back up with Darkster. Darkster underneath the Tag Heuer bridge there, and now into Hawthorne's. No chance of rain. Yes, the skies look a bit ominous, but no rain out here at Brands Hatch. No rain for the remainder of the season, as Fear the Fun was telling us there in the driver's spotlight before the race that they're glad that that's behind them with the rain that fell out at Sebring back in week number 2. They don't want any part of that anymore, at least Fear the Fun doesn't. Here comes Salty Bonkos now back down the straightaway of Clearways. Into Druids, Darkser, Salty, Solar, Mr. Biggie's going to be back there somewhere. Actually make that Crate-Trim. Crate-Trim has now moved up to 4th position. Mr. Biggie not even in 5th. Mr. Biggie is now in 14th position. Either had to go into pit lane or had a dramatic off. And so now Mr. Biggie very much out of the picture. Crate-Trim in 4th spot, coming down Pilgrim's Drop. See Funtang there, and this will be a great run for Funtang, especially if he can get around Crate-Trim. It'll be good for him on the leaderboard as well. He's currently 8th back there behind Darkser. Darkser with 147, Funtang at a 134. Let's go back to Solar. And by back, I mean forward. 3rd position is Solar, as he's got Salty Bonkos out in front of him. Hop on board now with Solar as he does a round at Brands Hatch. Crossing the line, start at lap number 9. Down that Paddock Hill Bend. A little bit of a goalie there before you go to the Druids, and then you'll re-enter that goalie, and there goes Salty Bonkos with a little bit of a, I don't know if that was a sim twitch or what. Wasn't the smoothest there through Druids, and now through Cooper Straight. And Darkser's got a different approach there through Surtees. Kind of similar to what Fear the Fun was describing, going out wide and then looping back in toward the apex of Surtees. Whereas Salty Bonkos kind of held it toward the inside for the largest chunk of that turn. And now here they go toward Dingle Dell once again up onto the curbs. Got to be careful. A little bit of over acceleration on those curbs and could spell trouble. Solar, Salty Bonkos hitting the apex nicely. There's through Sheen, and now down the straightaway, this trio starting to close in on itself. And will Solar be looking for an opportunity to make a double pass? One on his teammate, the other on the SFM Darkser. What are y'all thinking? Who's going to come out on top here at Brands Hatch? Throw that in the chat. Pit lane, as we call it. Love to get your thoughts. And again, what is it? A very important week number 4. The points are they're definitely harder to come by with just 3 races remaining, this being one of them. And there goes Solar, a little bit squirrely, out of Graham Hill. Look at that, Salty Bonkos taking the same line as Dark, so really keeping the car in that slipstream, and now he's really closed in. Let's move up there to Salty Bonkos. Salty's looking to the inside, He's got it at least right now. Nope, there's going to be Darkser. It'll reclaim it there coming out of Hawthorns. Let's see if there's going to be an opportunity here. Nope, Darkser nicely on the inside, closing the door on Salty. And now here we go to Sheen. Sterling. Straight away. Oh no! And I think Salty's going to hold off. There goes Solar. Solar's going to drive off. And yes, Salty Bonkos is going to wait for Darkser to catch back up, although Darkser is just so far behind that Salty has no choice but to just continue on. And now Cratrium is going to move up to second position. I wouldn't even say that was Salty's fault. It looked like Darkser, coming out of Sterling's, didn't have the best acceleration, and there was no place for Salty Bonkos to go. And now it's going to be Futang in fourth. Darkser able to catch up and is now in fifth position. No need for a pit stop there. Alpha lead. Going to be a close one for sure, but at this point it's 2v1 or not, LOL, as that just happened there. And DWN Frog saying, no, looked like he had some sort of throttle issue as he just stopped accelerating. Yeah, and it looked like maybe the back end kicked out of Darkser's car coming out of Sterling's. Perhaps he did get a little bit heavy on the throttle while on the curbing and just spun the tire, and as such was not able to really get out of the corner like Salty was. And again, Salty, who decided he was going to just be slipstreaming off Darkser, had no room to get around, no way to get around Darkser. He was committed to it. So no fault to place there, at least not from my perspective and in my opinion. Here comes Salty Bonkos now back into second position around Cratrium, and now Futang's going to make a move, and here comes Darkser. Could it be a triple pass on Cratrium? And Futang is still going to have to battle it out coming up to Paddock Hill, and there goes Futang to the inside. And so at least two have passed, and now here comes Darkser coming up to Druids, and hold on as it takes a little bit for the cars to approach the camera. Now Darkser makes a move. Cratrium getting triple passed there as they head down Graham Hill, and now Salty Bonkos has Futang and Darkser right there behind him. Solar up in first position. Solar joining the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series for the first time here in season number 26. Again, looking to take some points off the table, and if Solar can win, that's all 50 points going to him. 47 to second, 45 to third, 43 to fourth, fifth gets 40. Every point is going to count. Every point's going to matter here at this point. Of course, taking the top 4 weeks of each driver of the 5 racing weeks in terms of points. So if this happens for one of our drivers not to be one of their best weeks, or definitely not their best week, then they'll pull that one off, and perhaps they'll do much better there in week number 5. Salty Bonkos now down the straightaway. Let's go back to Darkser there in 4th position behind Futang. Coming up to Brabham Straight for the conclusion of lap 12. Start lap 13. Mateo Max says, cool shot of the grass getting kicked up as the cars race by and away from the camera. Good to see you, Mateo Max. Thank you very much for dropping by. Mateo Max sporting that silver helmet there in the Twitch chat. Appreciate all the support from our subscribers here. And if you can't subscribe either with a Twitch Prime token or monetarily, at the very least, click that follow button. If you're enjoying the entertainment. If you're not, then I don't know what you're still doing here. But if you are, please click that follow button. Lets me know as a broadcaster that you are enjoying the racing, and you'll get that notification every time we go live. And we'll be live with the FP4 finale, week number 5, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The next Mileage Masters race, we'll talk about it a little bit later on. But that'll be happening on April 7th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Watching Futang, Darkser, Cratrium, Audrex even back there. Audrex, who is sitting 6th position overall on the leaderboard. He is just barely out in front of Disco Joint overall on that leaderboard, but in front of him in this race. So a good run by Audrex. actually checked that. Audrex is behind Disco Joint on the overall leaderboard, so this is a great run for Audrex to be out in front of Disco, try to nab himself fifth position, and Blister Gypsy, who is actually the leader in fourth position overall. Blister Gypsy running in 7th out there. Let's go ahead and check out Blister Gypsy. And then perhaps the most disappointing turn of events out on the track from what we've been able to see is with Mr. Biggie, who now is running in 12th. Here comes Disco Joint, unironically average through Druids, and let's see, no opportunity there for unironically average. Unironically average raced with us in the MX-5 Cup Car Challenge. Mateo Max saying, subscribe with your heart if for nothing else. What happened to Mr. Biggie? He was in 4th last time we checked. Yep, same here, Mr. PJ Dude. We didn't see it because we were watching the action of Salty Bonkos and Darkser out at front, but next thing we knew, on lap 2 or 3, Mr. Biggie had dropped back considerably, and we're not entirely sure whether that was the result of a necessary pit stop or if he just got off track so bad that he fell back that many positions. We'll see if Mr. Biggie's going to be able to make his way back up through the field through the remainder of this race as we have elapsed the halfway point here in this 21-lapper out at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. The Formula Mazda's 206 horsepower, 182 foot-pounds of torque. They weigh 1,226 pounds in Forza Motorsport 7. That brings them up to a performance index level of S748. Here comes Salty Bonkos. There's Darkser. Food Tang looking to make a move. Food Tang on his A game here today. Food Tang also raced in the MX-5 Cup Car Challenge this past Sunday. And let's see if he can make a move for 3rd position. That would be great for Food Tang. PJ Dude not racing out here today, unfortunately, but maybe we'll see PJ Dude in race number 2, or at the very least out at Long Beach for the finale next week. That's D-Fire as I take a look at the ticker overhead, and it looks like maybe Food Tang is off the track. And it is. Food Tang now has dropped back 2 positions, or at least 1. He's dropped back behind Crate Trim. He was vying for 3rd, and now he'll have to try to reclaim his position there with Crate Trim, and that's Soylent Formula Mazda. Or actually, that's Food Tang who's in the Soylent. Crate Trim is... He's got that Aperture Laboratories, and if I remember correct, Mateo Max told us that was Portal, I think, video game. The theme here in Season 26 of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, fictional businesses, either in the world of cinema or in video games. And there's Salty Bonkos. Salty Bonkos, who was challenging Darkser earlier in this race, after an incident coming through Sterling's, and again, I don't think there's any blame placed on Salty Bonkos whatsoever. It looked like Darkser did not get the launch out of Sterling's that he needed, and Salty had nowhere to go and put the nose of that Formula Mazda right there into the back end of Darkser's car. Unfortunately for both of them, no damage to be had. PJ Dude said 0 prep time for any of the tracks this week. His work schedule had him all kinds of jacked up, disappointed to miss almost half the season. And the beauty here of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, they've done 26 seasons over the span of, 5, 6, maybe even 7 or 8 years. There will be more. A season 27, and which vehicle will it be? Well, you'll have to be here through the finale to see who wins Season 26, because it's who comes away as the champion that gets to pick what the car that is raced in the next season is going to be. And in Season 27, that question mark very much exists. And the beauty of the Forza Spec Racing Series, as the name suggests, these cars are all built to the same specification. They've got here in these Formula Mazdas, a race clutch, a race driveline, a race differential. So they all have the same horsepower, same amount of torque, they all weigh the same, and here comes Darkser, now around Salty, and there you go, Darkser able to reclaim that position, and Salty Bonkos, he got the left corner of his front wing onto the back there of Darkser, and that could have been bad. You don't want to damage that wing up, and Darkser now is going to move back out in front. This is great for Darkser, again, who entered week number 3 in 13th position, enters week 4 now here in 7th. He needs all the points that he can get to try to come away with the championship in this one, because he has had some unfortunate luck through this season. Missed the first race in week number 1, joined in on the second race and won it. Headed out to week number 2, won the second race, was going to win the third race, but then got a disconnect in the last lap. As such, he's got 2 races where he has 2 weeks that have 50 points and 50 points only. And so he's going to have to try to make the most of it out of week number 3. Well, he did. He most certainly did. He'll have to make the most of it here in week 4. And then week 5, the finale out at Long Beach. Let's go back to 5th position. Well, actually, let's go to 4th with Craytrim. And Craytrim and Salty Bonkos are now duking it out with Futang, who dropped back there to 5th position, coming out of Sheen Curve, ran wide out of the grass. He was trying to get around Darkser, wasn't able to do it. Now, Craytrim has been overtaken by Salty. Well, no, Salty already had it. Craytrim was trying to get around Salty, who's dropping back off the pace now, and Futang was looking for an opportunity. Futang in a position to make a double pass here, and they're going to go too wide through Surtees. It's going to be Craytrim on the inside, Salty on the outside, and now it's going to be Salty on the inside heading toward Hawthorns. They are wheel to wheel, at least back tire to front tire, and it's going to be Salty on the inside through Hawthorns, and Salty's going to be able to hold on to it. Craytrim still back there in 4th position. Futang hanging tight, waiting for a mistake, but he can't make one himself, because back behind Futang, not too far behind, is Audrex, 7th position. Blister Gypsy, unironically average, running solid back there in 8th. Disco Joint in 9th. 10th is Mr. Biggie. So Mr. Biggie now starting to make his way up through the field, but kind of on the racing island, as you can see highlighted there on the map. Let's go up to 2nd position. Actually, let's return to 3rd with Salty Bonkos, or we're already at Salty Bonkos there, so my apologies. But now Futang looking for a move, or trying to make a move on Craytrim. Not going to happen here down Brabham for the start of lap number 19. So the laps are whittling away. We've got a tire, or not a tire, we've got a whole car off the track into the kitty litter. That looked like Weiss Lancelot. And coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Lap number 19 of 21. Yes, it does say 22 in the upper left-hand corner, but that'll just be a celebratory lap. So if anybody's going to make a move, they got to do it in the next lap and a half. Here comes Craytrim with Salty Bonkos up there in 2nd. Craytrim in 4th. Futang in 5th. We've got a 4-way battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th here. Futang bringing up the rear of this pack, and then, of course, there's Audrex, who's hunting him down. If there was to be any sort of tragic mistake here, 2nd through 5th, and then Audrex is looking to take advantage of that. Solar, who is running free and clear. Actually, he's in the back marker territory. Solar looks to come away with the win. He'll get the white flag next time by the official stand. Into Sterling's. Look at this. We've got two wides. That's Darkser and Salty for 2nd and 3rd. Craytrim and Futang for 4th and 5th. Now through Clark Curve, and here we go. The white flag flies. Last lap. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring that back. Let's bring that back. We've got one more after this. Getting a little bit too anxious, a little too excited there. Salty through Druids. Craytrim. And Salty was on the brakes, and now it looks like Darkser has reclaimed 2nd position. So Darkser and Salty were going back and forth. Let's go up to Darkser, or actually let's go to Salty Bonkos there in 3rd now. With Futang and Craytrim back behind him. Flip that. Down the straightaway, heading toward Hawthorns. Salty now looking to the outside. Darkser is going to make him run a little bit wide and block him there on the outside up over the curbing. And Audrex is now in the mix. We've got 5 cars battling it out from second back to 6th position. Where is this one gonna end, or how's it going to end? Hang tight, folks. It's gonna be a good finish here out at Brands Hatch, and of course, this is just the part 1 of our 2-part week number 4 here in season 26. Don't go anywhere. We've got Monza coming up next after this. Here comes Darkser out of Clark, up the Brabham straight hill. And they've got lap traffic out in front of them. That's Fast Eddie there in 17th position, so they're really going to have to look out here. And perhaps Fast Eddie is staying out on the track. Darkser is going to go to the right side. Now Salty Bonkos is going to follow him. Fast Eddie wisely taking the high line there through Druids. And now 2nd through 6th has started to fan itself out. Perhaps that lap traffic playing a part, having a role in doing so. And now Salty Bonkos, who has for a large chunk of this race been looking at the back end of Darkser, will do it here for the last half of the final lap. Kicking up that grass, as Mateo Max had mentioned a little bit earlier. And Audrex is falling off the pace a little bit back there in 6th position. So now it's just going to be a battle here for 2nd and 3rd. This is where the incident was a little bit earlier on, and Darkser is off the track. Here comes Salty Bonkos coming up to Sterling's. Down the straightaway, it's clearways. Salty Bonkos on the outside, Darkser to the inside. It's Darkser who's going to have the advantage coming up to Clark Curves, but Salty looking quite nice. Darkser is going to close that door, though, and across the line, 2 and 3 goes Darkser. Salty Bonkos. Kratrium will grab 4th position. Back there in 5th, that's going to be Funtang. Audrex for 6th. Blister Gypsy is up there in 7th. Let's go to 8th with Unironically Average. And Unironically Average is going to finish in 8th position with Blister in 7th. Mr. Biggie coming across the line, unfortunately, after some sort of devastating incident that took him out of the running early, will come across in 9th position. He was 2nd overall on the leaderboard. This could be harmful to his status, his situation in the race, and he's going off into the kitty litter, not knowing that they're all sitting over there. And well, actually, no, they are right there at the end of Paddock Hill Bend. Let's go back to 11th. That's going to be T-Phrase. T-Phrase now coming across the line. And that Jamaican bobsled team, painted Formula Mazda. And 12th position is going to go to Fear the Fawn. Back there in 13th. Let's go to it. It's Slow Motion Fire. Unfortunately, not a great run for Slow Motion Fire. And back behind Slow is Disco Joint. Disco Joint. Wow. Didn't catch what happened to Mr. Biggie. Didn't catch what happened to Disco Joint. And that's going to be a bad finish for Disco. And this could very well end up being his drop week. 14th goes Fear the Fawn. 15th is going to be Gotta Go Fast. 16th, Fast Eddie. 17th goes to Modern Weapon. 18th is Weiss Lancelot. TFX Ray Devil back there in 19th. So there you go, folks. Solar showing up for the first time, season 26 of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, and again in that magenta and green liveried car, going to come away with that win. And it's for bragging rights for him, because he just doesn't have the points to get up through the championship. And so Solar is being the devil's advocate essentially here in this race, taking those points off the board. Let's go to SFM Darkser. SFM Darkser, you and Salty Bonkos had a great battle all throughout that race. Unfortunately, you two got tangled up coming out of Sterling's. Didn't look like there was any fault to be placed there. How did you see it from your perspective?
I think I upshifted twice somehow, and then I didn't even feel any contact. The car just spun to the right, and was discussing it with Salty and Solar. They didn't observe any contact either, so it's just one of those things. No one's fault.
Salty tried to hang back there for you to allow you to catch up. Unfortunately, it looked like you dropped as far back as maybe 5th position. That's the beautiful thing here of the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. You get that brotherhood going, and so even like to your point, it didn't seem like maybe there was a big push, just enough to send your car sliding, but Salty given the courtesy to hang out and wait for you to catch back up.
Yeah, I did appreciate that because, even though it wasn't his fault, it still did affect me in a pretty significant way. But, it's whatever. It's just one of those things.
So that being said, you finish here back behind Solar, who, again, he shows up here for the first time, takes some points off the board for you, but you finish out in front of Salty, you finish out in front of Blister and Disco and Audrex and Funtang, all the things that you needed to do here for the start of week number 4.
Yeah, silver lining. Could have been worse.
You would have wished to have another 3 points, I'm guessing?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't object, but, can't be too upset with second place. Also, shout out to Funtang. He did really great defending those couple laps. I could not get any ground on him. Yeah, so I had to deploy the dive bomb there to get around.
He did great. We did see a couple of instances or at least one instance where he got off track, and unfortunately that spoiled it for him. He dropped back a position there. But yes, great racing all the way back to Audrex there in 6th position, and I think even as far back as 8th with unironically average. Everybody was at a pretty good clip there. So here we go, heading into Monza. First, we'll do some qualifying, then we'll go out to the race. Are you feeling in the zone here on this Tuesday with the Formula Mazda?
Sure.
I
think the draft is going to be interesting. Remember that Indianapolis race where nobody can get away from anyone? I think it's going to be even more tight than that at Monza, just because there's so few braking zones. There's like 3.
And if I remember correctly, this being the alternate track that we're going to be going to, that means there's no chicane on the front straightaway?
Yeah, you got it. Just blasting in turn 1. So start at Parabolica.
So as you'd mentioned, the slipstream, the speed will be paramount in that race. And, of course, a lot of that will be exercised on that front straightaway. Dark Sir, great talking to you. Congratulations on the second place finish, and maybe you'll be able to get out there in front for this next one and stay out there. We wish you the best.
Thanks again.
Okay, and if there are any other drivers who are looking to chat here at the conclusion of this race as the organizers get everything queued up and ready for qualifying out at Monza, the alternate full circuit, then you know where to go into that queue for interview section. But let me go ahead and flash those standings up again. And again, this is entering week number 4, so this is not considering what just happened there in the first race out at Brands Hatch. So factor that in. And, of course, you also have to consider that for some drivers, this past race, this race number 1 here tonight might have been their worst race, and if that's the case, that this week may have very little impact on their standings overall, or it could have a big time impact on their standings. You'll just have to find out. The officials get everything tallied up at the end of the race, at the end of the broadcast, and then of course we rerun this broadcast back here on Shadow Edge Media. So if you miss anything, if you can't catch the next race in its entirety, or you missed a part of the Brands Hatch event, then you can catch it all immediately following this cast and watch it with some of the racers, because they hop in there and they have a good time seeing everything back and looking at what it looked like from the spectator perspective. So I look to the queue for interview section. None of the drivers are hanging out there, and it looks like our drivers are very much getting ready for qualifying out here at Monza. Salty Bonkos, Solar, Darkster, Audrex, Funtang, Cratrium, Blister Gypsy, Disco Joint, Mr. Biggie, T-Phrase. Those folks are all still in the lobby, and the 20 that started the last race are the same 20 that are in here now. And so hopefully the likes of D-Fire, who actually was doing pretty good there on the overall leaderboard. In 24th position, there are still other drivers that don't make it to the leaderboard, doing pretty good. Unfortunately, getting a DNF in that last race, but I do believe he started, which if you at least start, I think you get 3 points at the very least. So our drivers are getting ready for that next race. I see nobody in the join for interview section of the FM4 channel, the Discord channel. So let's go ahead and talk about, hold on 1 second. I do have to fix something because I've got the wrong graphic set up. So let me go ahead and get this all figured out here because we want to show you the right thing. There we go. Mileage Masters, April 7th. And as I mentioned at the start of tonight's broadcast, this race has already filled up. We opened up registration at the conclusion of Sunday's event, that MX5 Cup Car Challenge, and within 36 hours, both divisions, the Prototype and the GT Racing Reborn divisions, were all claimed. And of course, we are accepting waitlist applications. That way, if any drivers do drop out or don't show on race day, depending on the order in which you have applied and submitted your registration, then drivers will then be brought in to fill in those missing spots, and hopefully we'll have a full grid of 20 or 21 drivers. We'll still have to sort that out as we coordinate the logistics with our spotters, but we're looking at either 20 or 21 drivers participating in that race, and yes, we do have a full grid. Tesaurus, thank you for the Tier 1 subscription, Tesaurus. And Tesaurus has registered for that race and is in line for that one. Solar saying, I just came to race. He ain't making any kind of statement. We've only interviewed Solar, I think, maybe 1 or 2 times. And then that was it. But let's go to T-Phrase. T-Phrase, man. Hey, you joined us in the commentary booth for the MX5 Cup Car Challenge. Now you're out there on the track in the Formula Mazdas. How goes it?
Yeah, I feel like I want to be back in the booth.
You ready to retire?
Oh, geez, I'm telling you. Well, no, the problem is I had a work phone call. I got a phone call at probably 2 or 3 minutes into practice, which was at like 7:40, and I got off 21 minutes into the first race. So I was literally doing all of the first practice at this place and qualifying and the first 10 laps on a phone call, answering questions and muted. So I have no idea. I probably could have blown my engine and all that kind of stuff. So it was good fun.
Damn priorities, life, and all that, you know.
Telling you.
Gets in the way of the fun stuff.
Sometimes it does. It's just, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is happening right now. So
you're entering week number 4. You were 15th position back there behind PJ Dude. PJ Dude, unfortunately, not able to race here tonight. Weiss Lancelot, who was up there in 13th position. You're out in front of Ray Devil. Ray Devil was struggling out there at Brands Hatch. So an opportunity to get yourself over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, well, I've had some frustrating weeks where I've been in good spots and a mistake was made, or, had some contact or ran off. And so, I just tried to, focus as much as I could during the whole first of the race. And then, I didn't even really get to compete there at the beginning. I just kind of figured, cards are going to fall where they may. And I ended up being like 12th. And then we had a wreck by disco joint, which put me in 11th. So I was like, 11th's fine. It gets me, a couple points. And I noticed too that, Weiss and PJ obviously wasn't here. And then TFX Ray Devil, he was chilling on the side over there. I guess he'd had enough of GP. So it was it made it somewhat better. Now it's time to go racing at Monza. And if you get a phone call in this, you're not going to like it because you got to have maximum concentration in this draft.
Yeah, these cars are going to be smoking down not only the front straightaway but the back straightaway as you come out of Variante Ascari heading up to Curva Parabolica. 11 corners out here on the track. Actually, we'll minus 2 of those that are that chicane there on the front straightaway. In these Formula Mazdas, have you preferred tracks that have a little up and down in them, a little bit of elevation change, or do you very much like it when they're kept on the flat and level?
I think they're designed for flat, but personally, my favorite track that this car has been on is Indy. Indy, my car was smoking on Indy. I was running with the top times, if not maybe a half a second off, and I just had that unfortunate error at the beginning where I had to go all the way back to 20th and then work my way back up, and I finished I think 14th, but I was catching everybody. If there had been 100 laps there, I probably would have gotten to maybe 7th or 8th, and so I knew there wasn't enough time. But it was fun. So I think Monza is going to be a lot of the same. But I think everybody's fast. Everybody's pretty fast here. That's in that top group. And then Fear said he's got a fast car. Foon said he doesn't like this track, so he doesn't know how he's going to do. I think I've got a decently fast car, so I guarantee there will be some front pack action. May not be in the first and second, but it'll definitely be, fourth and on back. We'll have a good, probably a good run because we'll be in the draft. So
we'll look back there when we get the opportunity. T-Phrase, best of luck to you. No phone calls during this race, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, there you go. We're ready for qualifying. 3 laps out here at Monza, the full alternate circuit, so there is no chicane there on the front straightaway, giving these Formula Mazdas all the power they need heading into Curva Biasolo. I think I'm saying that okay. I'm probably still butchering it, but lots of power out here at Monza to be had. So this is going to be another exciting one. Our final race of this variety here in season number 26 before we head out to Long Beach for that 57 lapper. So grab a drink, a bite to eat, kick back, relax. If the Tuesday was rough for you, well, we're bringing you the fun here. Forza Motorsport 7, Shadow Edge Media live on Twitch TV. Dustin Moore, great to have you tuned in. Presto Espesto is going to be the first off the line, and oh, what a sight it is to see. You've got those turn markers there on the fence, the catch fence, but they're going to blow right on by. No cones, no tire wall. It's straight up to turn 3 with Curva Grande or Biasolo. Up to the next set, another or a chicane. I would say another if we had that first one, but it's going to be 4 and 5. 2 degree Variante della Rosia. I'm probably saying these all wrong, so I do apologize to the Italian brethren, brothers and sisters. If you're watching, please forgive me. Fishy Joe's there on the design of Presto's Besso's car as he comes out of Curve de Lesmo, turn 7, down the Curve del Seleglio, which is actually just kind of a straightaway with that little bit of a kink there. Then it's Variante Ascari, which is 3 corners, 8, 9, and 10. Before you have that next long straightaway. So you've got about 3 or 4 good straightaways out here at Monza before you have these little squirrely or squiggly bits. And down the straightaway to turn 11. Fastest here is saying going to be a long straight in these cars. Yeah, you've got to have these things tuned up right. You come out of Brands Hatch, where I would think you have a little bit of a different tuning setup versus out here at Monza. And perhaps that's what had these drivers taking a little bit more time in the pit lane. And now we watch Presto Espesto coming back out onto the straightaway toward the start-finish line. We'll see what he clocks in at. With a 152.9 for Presto. Disco joint, 152 odd. Otang, 151.6. Let's go back to Modern Weapon in 6th position. Alpha Lead saying, yeah, for sure, they want to trim these cars as much as possible. Because they've got the aero kit here on the Formula Mazdas, you can do a little bit of finagling with those too. Maybe not so much cornering capability as you would want top speed. Because if you don't have these things queued up for top speed, somebody certainly will. They'll find their way around you. Mr. Biggie with a 149 Ford. That's the kind of qualifying lap pace that he needed. But here comes Audrex with the 148. Now, this is just a standing start this first time through as we get ready to go for the flying lap. SVR Solar coming away with the top spot now at a 148.7. Let's go to Solar and watch him get around for lap number 2. Brake disc glowing going there through Valiante. You got to be careful here. Obviously, through these chicanes, the Forza Clean is in effect to give our drivers a fair shot at posting a quick time. So you can't cut that corner, otherwise you're going to dirty your lap. And as always, not only here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series, but in most leagues, a dirtied lap, no matter how fast it is, it's always going to be slower than the slowest clean lap. Again, to those of you who are tuned in watching here, Shadow Edge Media on Twitch TV, please post up there in the pit lane. Say hello. You can lurk if you want to, but if you got an opportunity or if you're willing to say hi there in the pit lane, I would certainly appreciate it. We love getting the engagement going here on the channel. And if you have any thoughts, any predictions of what's going to happen in this race, or maybe you want to talk about the world of Forza Motorsport, the world of esports, the world of racing, virtual racing, or real-world racing, throw whatever you want to in there. You're going to find like-minded folks here. Everybody's here for the same reason, essentially. That's to watch some great virtual racing action here in Forza Motorsport 7, and whether you have it for the Xbox One or the PC, participate here in the FM4 series and also the Mileage Master series. Everything you need to know down below, twitch.tv/Shadow Edge Media. There goes Solar. Audrex had it there for a second, but Solar reclaimed it with a 144.9. And here we go for the start of qualifying, lap number 3. Let's go to Darkser. He's getting through the chicane there at Variante, and here's the problem. He's got Blister out in front of him, and now Fast Eddie. That's 2 cars that are going to be silhouetted out in front of him. And yes, they're silhouetted, so you can see through them, but I would say vaguely. It comes to points like that right there in the corner where you're hunting for that apex, that you see you see that silhouette, and it can play tricks with your mind, with your eyes, and have you not heading into a corner as best as you could. And so that's the trick that Darkster's going to have to deal with here to try to set a best lap. He's currently got the 4th best out there. It's going to be Solar with the top spot, Kratrium right now 2nd, Audrex 3rd overall, Darkster 4th, Mr. Biggie 5th, Blister Gypsy 6th, and Blister Gypsy again having a not so great race out there at Brands Hatch. Trying to make up for it here at Monza. Darkster's going to run a little bit wide coming there through Curva Parabolica, which is turn 11 if you were to run the chicane there on the front straightaway. It is T11 as identified out on the track, and there goes Darkster. He's going to take the inside line. Blister there closer to the flag podium, and across the line they go, and not able to take down Solar's time. So it's going to be Solar, Kratrium, Audrex, Darkster, Mr. Biggie, Blister Gypsy, Fotang, Salty Bonkos, T-Phrase, Gotta Go Fast, Disco Joint, TFX, Ray Devil, D-Fire, Unironically Average, Slow Motion Fire, Presto's Besto, and of course I'm rattling off some of these names, and some of our drivers still have yet to cross the line for their 3rd and final qualifying lap. We'll take a look at the past race results, or at least the race results for this qualifying, to get an idea of what those times look like. Unfortunately, that board will not be sorted in order, so mind you that. And here we go. Go back to the lobby. And there's a look, and let's see if any drivers are going to jump into the queue for interview one last time before we get to racing. Out here for race number 2, Act 2, in week 4, season 26. Can I throw any more numbers at you? Well, sure. S748, the Formula Mazdas out here in the Spec Racing Series. And again, that's a race clutch, race driveline, race differential, and I forgot to mention earlier, race exhaust and race flywheel. Those are the only upgrades here on these Formula Mazdas, and I'm looking over the queue for interview. I'm not seeing anybody there, so perhaps all our drivers are going to be zoned in and ready to race. We love talking to the drivers, though, here in the Forza Motorsport Spec Racing Series. I tell you what, man, we started doing the interviews last season. We didn't do interviews back there in season 24. But, man, we missed out, obviously, because season 25 is when we brought our drivers into the driver's spotlight, and a great bunch of drivers, a great brotherhood that has been established here, 26th season of the FM4 series, dating back to the Forza Motorsport 4 days. So, yes, it has been a good 6 or 8 years that these guys have been running, and, of course, there's been some turnover. There's some new names and some veteran faces and gamer tags here in the series, but all in all, they welcome you in, and as long as you race clean, you're welcome back week after week. If you don't race clean, well, they'll give you the boot. But for the most part, everybody on the top of their game. Not only are they racing clean and safe, and sometimes that results in slower racing, no, they're still racing at a very, very high level. Some top echelon pro-level drivers out here in the FM4 series. Kid you not. Some of these names you may see in the upcoming Forza Racing Championship here at some point, to be announced. And so there's a look at the times. We're going to go ahead and go back to the lobby here and make sure that we're not late, as all of our drivers appear to be getting readied up. Modern Weapon, D-Fire, Disco Joint, the only other 3 working on getting their setups fully set up before this race gets kicked off. And again, if you are watching this broadcast and you are enjoying, maybe not so much me, but you're enjoying the racing, well then click that follow button. It will be greatly appreciated. We'd love to have you back here on the channel. We'll be back at it for week number 5, that finale out at Long Beach, 57 laps next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then join us on April 7th for the Throwback Multi-Class event. We'll talk about it again at the conclusion of tonight's broadcast, but we already have a full field. That just has me taken back. I really did not expect it, and I'm, with utmost sincerity, I'm very appreciative for everybody who's participating out on the track.